Welcome to the John Grdina classroom where transformation happens. I'm John Grdina, teacher, life coach, husband, father, author, and founder of 40 Days Deliverance. Making change in our community and country starts with you being a solid role model for those around you. In the next few minutes, we're diving deeper into the 4 pillars that would transform your life: your faith, your family, your fitness, and financial freedom. Before we jump in, if this podcast adds value to your journey, hit the like button, share this episode who needs to hear it, and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts so you'll never miss a week. You have the gifts and talents to help those around you. Let's unlock them together. All right, let's get started. Scripture of the week. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of his Holy One is understanding. Psalm 111:10. Everything we're talking about today, building strong families, caring about our bodies, and becoming financially free, it all starts right here. The fear of the Lord isn't about being scared. It's about having reverence, respect, and awe for God. When we put God first and align our lives with his truth, wisdom flows into every decision we make. This week, we're laying the foundation. Before we can build anything lasting in our families, our health, our finances, we need wisdom. And wisdom begins with honoring God. When you fear the Lord, you gain the discernment to know what truly matters, the strength to make hard choices, and perspective to see beyond temporary struggles to eternal purpose. This is what transformation begins, not with willpower or strategy alone, but with surrendering to the one who created you and his plan for your life. Here's a story today of a father's love in action. His name is Dick Hoyt, and what he did for his son, Rick. This is a story about what real love looks like, the kind of love that doesn't just say, I care about you, but proves it through sacrifice. 62, Dick and Judy Hoyt welcomed their son, Rick, into the world. But during birth, Rick's umbilical cord wrapped around his neck, cutting off oxygen to his brain. He was diagnosed with cerebral palsy. Doctors told Dick and Judy that their son would be a vegetable for life and recommended institutionalizing him. But Dick looked at his son and made a choice. This is my boy, and I'm going to show him that his life has value. I'm going to show him what's possible. So fast forward in 1977, Rick was 15 years old, and he wanted to participate in a 5-mile run for a lacrosse player who had been paralyzed. Rick said, Dad, I want to show him that life is hard, and I'm going to do hard things too. So here's the thing. Dick wasn't a runner. He was overweight, out of shape. But when his son asked him to do this, Dick didn't hesitate. He said yes. He got a modified wheelchair, and together they ran the 5-mile race. They finished second to last, but when they crossed the finish line, Rick had the biggest smile on his face. He told his dad, when I'm running, it feels like I'm not handicapped. That moment changed everything. This is what love really looks like. Over the next 40 years, Dick Hoyt made a choice every single day to sacrifice his comfort for his son's joy. Together, Team Hoyt competed in over 1,100 endurance events, including 72 marathons, 257 triathlons, and 6 Ironmans. Think about what Dick did in every single race. Swimming. He pulled Rick behind him in a specialized boat using a rope attached to a vest around his waist, swimming while dragging extra weight. Biking. He carried Rick in a specialized designed seat attached to the front of his bicycle, pedaling with his son's weight in front of him for 112 miles. In running, he pushed Rick in a custom-made wheelchair for 26.2 miles, never stopping or quitting. Dick wasn't doing this for medals or recognition. He was doing it every single time his son raced to make him feel free. And every time they crossed the finish line together, Rick knew his father loved him, not in theory, but in action. Team Hoyt was inducted to the Ironman Hall of Fame, not because they were the fastest, because they showed the world what sacrificial love looks like. So here's the question. What are you willing to sacrifice for your children? Not just what you say you do, but what you're actually doing. Dick Hoyt wasn't born an Ironman athlete. He became one because his son mattered more than his comfort. He transformed his body, pushed through the pain, and showed up day after day because his love is not a verb, not a feeling. This week's family and fitness challenge. So I'm challenging you to do a physical event with your child this week. It doesn't have to be an Ironman. It just has to be something that requires you to show up and sacrifice your comfort and time for their joy. Here are some ideas. Sign up for a local 5K and run or walk it together. Go on a family hike and let them pick the trail. Play a sport in the backyard, basketball, soccer, football, and play until they're tired, not until you're tired. Do a homework workout, side by side, push-ups, jumping jacks, and fitness challenge. Ride bikes together to a destination they choose. If your kids are older, challenge them to a physical competition and give it your all. The fitness part. So let's go back. And while you're at it, let's commit to the daily push-up challenge that we had last week. Remember, beginners, we're doing 10 to 12 push-ups per day, breaking into sets. Intermediate, 25 to 50, and for advanced, 50 to 100 push-ups per day. All right. Remember, if you're having some struggles with it, modify it and get back to just being consistent. Track your daily habits, do them first thing in the morning or attach them to an existing habit that you do every day. Remember why this matters. Your kids are watching you. They're not just listening to what you're saying, they're watching what you do. When you take care of your body, you're teaching them that the health of you matters. When you sacrifice your comfort to do hard things with them, you're teaching them what love looks like in action. Dick Hoyt didn't just tell Rick he loved him. He swam, biked, and ran over 1,100 races to prove it. What will you do for this week to show your child that you love them more than comfort? Remember, your body is a temple, and taking care of it honors God and gives strength and energy to serve your family and pursue your calling. Get moving, not just for yourself, but for people who need you to be strong. Moving on to our segment of financial freedom, understanding how money really works. Here's what they don't teach you in school. The dollar in your pocket is losing value every single day. We're living in an era of inflation and currency devaluation. While you're working hard to save dollars, these dollars are buying less and less over time. Remember, that savings account earns 0.5% interest. It's actually losing purchasing power when inflation is going 3 to 7% or even higher. So how to build real financial freedom? You must understand the difference between saving currency and owning assets. Cash is a tool for transactions, not for storing wealth long term. The wealthy don't just save money, they convert their dollars into assets that preserve and grow wealth. My coach, who I'm in 3T Warrior Academy, said to beat the hurdle rate, you need assets that grow faster than inflation destroys your purchasing power. If inflation's at 5% and you're earning 1% in a savings account, you're losing 4% every single year. That's why you need a wealth ecosystem, not just a savings account. So what do we do? According to Coach JV, the greatest shift in humanity, the complete rewiring of the outdated financial system is using XRP and Bitcoin. They're not just digital assets, but they're the great wealth transfer for the financial system. So what do we use also? We use gold and silver. These are thousands of years old, God-given resources. That's real money. They maintain purchasing power when currencies fail. While the dollar has lost 95% of its value since 1913, an ounce of gold still buys roughly the same amount of its goods it did 100 years ago. That's crazy, isn't it? But that's the truth. So we need to rewire our mind. JV teaches also that in 2030 and on, you'll need these decades to find the next hot coin or chasing hype. Instead, you need to build a system that creates discipline, and discipline that creates cash flow, and cash flow that creates freedom. See, XRP is a design real-world asset, and it uses cross-border transactions and serves as a bridge currency for financial institutions worldwide. Unlike traditional banking systems that are days and charge high fees, XRP sells transactions in seconds for pennies. Fixed supply, speed, scalability, big institutions are moving in, and Ripple is becoming a bank, a global bank, and it's positioning itself as an infrastructure for the new digital economy. Bitcoin is a digital asset that has only 21 million supply. So this makes it a powerful store of value and hedge against currency debasement. Think of Bitcoin as digital gold, something you hold long-term as wealth preservation. So how do we use these assets? We start doing a dollar cost averaging. And this is how it works. You dollar cost average in Bitcoin and XRP consistently for 10 years. Not timing the market, not just viewing this from the bottom, just being steady, disciplined, and investing over time. This strategy will change your financial future. Why? Because we have discipline in creating cash flow, and cash flow creates freedom. So how do we avoid the traps? Stay away from meme coins and hype. Focus on assets with real world utility. Don't chase what's loud, chase what's sound. The discipline and stoic will build generational wealth, not the loud or the impulsive. So this week's action step, educate yourself. Spend 30 minutes this week learning about how inflation is eroding your savings. Start small. You don't need thousands of dollars. Just start with maybe $50 and start putting it into one of these assets. Again, shift your mindset. Stop thinking I need to save dollars and start thinking I need to build a wealth ecosystem with assets that beat the hurdle rate. Think long term. This is a 20, 30 plus game. Ask yourself, where will my family be in 10 years if I stayed disciplined? So the goal, your emergency fund can stay in dollars for quick access, but your wealth building strategy should focus on assets that appreciate faster than inflation erodes your purchasing power. Keep your debt low, focus on cash flow as the life bloodline of your ecosystem. Build systems, not hype, when driven gambles. This isn't just about you. You're building a generational wealth and breaking cycles of debt for your family's future. Real assets, not depreciating dollars. And how you create this, you win the game of being disciplined. Remember, this is not financial advice. This is just recommendations that I am doing. So to bring this all together, this week, you have some simple actions for our 4 pillars. For our faith, meditate on Psalm 111:10. Remember that fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Your family, do something with your family. Remember the meal, the activity, the sports, push-ups, pull-ups, whatever it is, do that. Hit your daily push-up goal too. No excuses. And think of Dick Hoyt pushing his son for miles. You can do it. Financial freedom. Remember, spend 30 minutes learning about good assets, gold, silver, XRP, Bitcoin, and other top ones. Our final thought for today is remember, small steps every single day compound in a massive transformation. You're not just changing your life, you're changing your family tree. Turn off the negativity in your life and start making a profound impact at home, work, and in your community. You have the gifts and talents to help those around you. Now go use them. If this episode fired you up, share it with someone who needs it. Leave a review on Spotify or Apple or YouTube. It helps us reach more people with free and valuable content. And remember to follow me on Instagram at jgrdina04. Check out anything on my website, johngrdina.com. I love you, and may the Lord bless you and keep you all the days of your life. I'll see you next week, same time, same place. Until then, stay faithful, stay focused, and keep moving forward. Love you guys.